Jason DeRusha joins us now to discuss more. He's the host of WCCO Radio show Drive Time with DeRusha. Jason, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Obviously, you're very much a fixture of the Minneapolis community. For people across the country and the world who are watching tonight, give us a peek into what the community is saying right now, what the mood is like there.
You know, Omar captures it well. You do in Minnesota see people show up. They show up for their neighbors in tough times and in good times. Omar was here in the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd during those riots. He knows very well that protest is also a part of this community. But I want to say this because this is a community that has gone through a lot. But this is a state that is similar to many states in America, where in the urban core, you see protest. And throughout the country, the media picture of Minneapolis is a community that is rising up. But bear in mind that this state does have a diversity of opinion, and there are many people who are glad to see that what they voted for, which was strong borders and getting people who are here illegally out, there are people who are happy about that. And they are not the people you see pictured and you see covered.
Yeah. And listen, Minneapolis.
I'm not advocating for that position. I'm just saying, like, just know that there is a diversity. Yeah.
Listen, there are many opinions in this country. That is for sure. We certainly have seen this as a flashpoint, no doubt about it. The thing about Minneapolis, too, is it is obviously a major city, but it's not gigantic in the sense that there's not, millions and millions and millions of people. It is a pretty close-knit major city, if that all makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think that's part of what people hear, even people who are sympathetic to the idea of having tougher immigration enforcement. Why us? If you were designing a strategic program to reduce the number of people in America who are here illegally, why would you come to a state that has 6 million people? The estimates are about 130,000 people who are here without proper documentation. Why us? And I think we know the answer, right? There is certainly beef between the federal government and the leadership of the city of Minneapolis and the leadership, particularly of our governor, Tim Walz.
Yeah. And help people understand, you mentioned the George Floyd protests. It is remarkable that all of that happened, in the same city, and that these two incidents happened just not that far apart from one another in terms of distance. Right. How are these protests different? How would you compare then and now, and just kind of how Minneapolis might be different as well?
There are a number of major differences. First of all, I do think law enforcement here has learned how to respond better. I think protesters know that the White House wants to see Minneapolis enraged and fighting against the cops. And so people are really being sensitive to not take the bait and not give that image to people who might want that image. We also are fatigued. And I don't think that is keeping the number of protesters down. But you mentioned George Floyd being his murder being very near what happened with ICE this week. But also in that same neighborhood, there was a school shooting at Annunciation Catholic School, the first day of Mass inside the church. That trauma is recent. We had the former Speaker of the House assassinated in her home along with her husband, and 3 other legislative leaders had this alleged killer show up at their front doors. The series of trauma has been crushing.
Yeah, as you listed, it is just hard. You put all that together. It is a lot, and I think about those kids who were at school on their first day of school and praying, and they were attacked and killed, and it's a lot of trauma for one community. Jason, thank you for giving us a window into that. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.